All right, welcome. I had a bit of a technical issue there. My switch wasn't connecting at all to like my capture card, and I don't know, just unplugged it, plugged it back in, and it worked. So, anywho, I came to sit down and like start the stream, and I put my switch in, and it takes like 5 seconds to really connect. But in like that 5 seconds, I was like, oh man, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom real quick, came back, and it wasn't connected, and I was like, god damn it. So anyway, we are gonna do some Pokemon battles. Usually Saturdays I do shiny hunting, but I didn't really have like anything like on my bird to shiny hunt really, and like the last 2 weeks too, I haven't really had like a whole lot of time to like sit down and like research teams and put something together and do that kind of stuff. So I just figured I'd do VGC tonight. So that is what we're gonna do. Although I think next Saturday, what I might do is do some Legends Arceus shiny hunting. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I wanna put together some Pokemon from Arceus to transfer over, especially the Hisui forms and Hisui evolutions like Ursaluna and Sneasler and things like that. I did though get a shiny Alpha Ursaluna, and I transferred it over, and I got it the Alpha mark and the Jumbo mark. So I did do that. All right. So the first team that we have is similar to a team that I've run before. I ran a Trick Room Sun team, and I called it Torque Room. And there we go. I panicked there for a second. And this is kind of that, just a little different though. It doesn't necessarily need Sun to even operate, and it doesn't even need Trick Room to operate. I tried to make this team as like well balanced as possible, to operate kind of like independently if I want Trick Room, if I want Sun, or if I want both, or if I want neither. So it can operate without either of those things, but it works best under Trick Room and under Sun. It's a little bit more versatile, and I can bring a little bit more firepower to the battle. And then Team 2 over here is really just an excuse to use Quaquaval and Pincurchin. I made them and built them months ago, and I've just never used them, and I figured why not now? Especially since come Regulation D, they are not going to have a place in Regulation D. So it's either I bring them now or never. So I kind of put together a team, and I really had a hard time. I spent like 4 hours today putting together this team because I could not, for the life of me, find something that like worked super duper well. So this will be an interesting team. This one I think is probably the weaker of the two, but we'll find out. But we are going to start with Team 1 here. Basically, the idea with this team is that my actual sweeper is Torkoal with Eruption. And what we're going to do, ideally, in an ideal universe, is we will send out Torkoal and Oranguru. Torkoal will protect and do Torkoal things. And Oranguru with its ability Inner Focus and holding a Mental Herb, so Fake Out won't affect it, and Mental Herb will shake off any taunts. So we should almost always, barring like one hits or anything like that, we should get Trick Room off that first turn, and then we will Eruption with Torkoal, and then Instruct on Torkoal and Eruption again. That's basically the idea there. And then I also have Chi-Yu Fluttermane, which is just a really common pairing. Chi-Yu lowers special defense of the all Pokemon, and Fluttermane does Fluttermane things, which is heavy special damage. And then I also have Brute Bonnet to take advantage of the Sun, and then Annihilate to just kind of fill in wherever he's really needed. And this one is not my Final Gambit Annihilate, so he would be doing Bulk Up and Drain Punch and Rage Fist and just be kind of like a bulky terror on the field. So he's a little bit more versatile in that respect. So let's get on with it. Oh. I went shopping today with a good friend, and we came back to my place and sat outside in the shade of my backyard, and I'm terribly allergic to grass, and I'm kind of surprised I didn't break out in hives from that, but I did get bit up by a bunch of mosquitoes, and now my shoulders are itchy. Anyhow, so we've got a Sandstorm team. It's the Orthworm Earth Eater looking team. We've got Lycanroc, Tyranitar, Garchomp, Orthworm, Roaring Moon, and Kilowattrel. So, actually, this is a very good team for us to go Trick Room on. I am going to bring this guy because not a lot of his Pokemon really want to eat a Bullet Seed to the face immediately. And yeah, I'm going to bring you, I guess. Since I'll be putting down Trick Room, Trick Room really does not do Fluttermane or Chi-Yu any favors. So in instances where I am going to be putting down Trick Room, I'll bring, my other core 4, where it doesn't really hurt them. In fact, it kind of helps them. It kind of goes either way for bulky Annihilate, but yeah, that's kind of the idea. Alrighty. So unfortunately, we do also boost the Roaring Moon here, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue. So we are going to go ahead and protect, and we are gonna put down a Trick Room. So unless he doubles up into Oranguru should survive. Even if he does and Oranguru goes down and we don't get the Trick Room, we should still be kind of okay. It's just not ideal. Okay, Taunt comes out. That's fine. We've got a Mental Herb. So I doubt he double taunts. That would be kind of nutty if he did. Okay, he didn't double taunt. But Trick Room goes off because we have our Mental Herb. So ideally, no damage went out. That is the ideal. We are going to go ahead and Terra Fire here and go for an Eruption. And then Instruct on Torkoal. And this should deal just a gross amount of damage. And then he's got Tailwind up, which in Trick Room really actually harms him. So we get the Instruct right after that, and both of them go down. And that was actually resisted on the Roaring Moon too, and it brought him down below half on the first attack. Truly disgusting. But like I said, some downsides to this is that Oranguru is kind of a sitting duck when it has to basically wait that first turn to put down Trick Room. So if they double up into Oranguru, he's probably not going to live. And priority, of course, is still an issue. But on one hand, a lot of priority is mostly physical. So Torkoal should be just fine, and probably wouldn't be too susceptible to physical damage. All right. I'm just going to go for another Eruption, I guess. Even though it's going to be a little bit weaker this time, just because... no, not Trick Room. I don't want to get rid of my Trick Room. It's going to be a little bit weaker. Oh, battle is canceled. Never mind. All right. Because the way Eruption works is that it deals more damage based on your current HP percentage. So when you're at 100%, it deals 150 base power, which is ridiculous. And then as your HP goes down, so does the max damage of Eruption. There's also a water counterpart to Eruption. I want to say it's Water Pulse, but I know that's wrong. But anyway, there's a water version of it that does the exact same thing. It's 150 base power based on your current health. And it was kind of a nightmare to have on Kyogre in Gen 8. Look, that's basically all people ever ran, was just Kyogre with that move. And you keep that Kyogre healthy, man, just murder the other team. And because of that, you brought Gastrodon and just completely shut it down. All right, so we've got Garchomp, Amoonguss, Brave Bird, Fluttermane, Orthworm, and Iron Bundle. I'm gonna do the exact same thing here. The Trick Room really doesn't benefit his team, and Sunlight really doesn't benefit his team except for Fluttermane. But we're gonna bring the exact same configuration here and get that Trick Room up. If he opens with Fluttermane and goes immediately for a Shadow Ball, or not a Shadow Ball, Moonblast into Oranguru, that is going to deal a pretty significant amount of damage. But like I said, team's big weakness is Oranguru going down first turn. I originally planned for today to just do absolutely nothing and just lounge and just be lazy, but I really wanted to go hang out with friends and I wanted to get a few errands done, so I went out and did that. And yeah, we also went out to eat, which was kind of a surprise. I wasn't expecting that at all. Alright. You know what? This might not be great, because if Amoonguss targets Oranguru with Spore, I won't be able to get the Trick Room off. And I don't think Oranguru is faster than Amoonguss. You know what? We're gonna try it. Maybe he targets Torkoal to put Torkoal to sleep and get rid of the fire threat. Okay, he goes to Terra Amoonguss to water, just to get rid of his fire weakness, I guess. But I do imagine he's still going to Spore, and if he does Spore onto Oranguru, we're kind of boned. Okay, goes for an Earthquake. That's also going to hurt his Amoonguss. And Amoonguss goes for a Spore into Torkoal. Yes! Okay, I kind of got scared there for a second. I thought the Amoonguss had like room service to lower its speed when Trick Room goes out, but it was just leftovers. All right, we're gonna Terra here. We're gonna go for an Eruption, and we are gonna go for an Instruct. Torkoal should go first, so we'll at least get one Eruption off. Again, I'm not sure where Amoonguss's speed is at, so I don't know if Oranguru is going to go immediately after Torkoal or not. But we will see. Amoonguss went for Protect, so that's fine. Garchomp, though, is still going to take kind of a buttload of damage, even though it's resisted. And Oranguru definitely understood. Ooh, Garchomp lived with over half. Do we get a crit, though? Because that would be kind of... Nah, we don't get a crit. That would be kind of nice. Okay, he goes for an Earthquake. Torkoal's got just ridiculous amounts of defense. Yeah, that didn't do a whole lot of damage, even though it was a super effective hit from a Garchomp. But, because our health is fairly low at the moment, we can't really make good use of Eruption anymore. But we still have Heat Wave. So we're going to go for that, and I am going to go for a Taunt onto Amoonguss to make sure it can't Spore, can't Protect, and just kind of really shut it down. Torkoal's probably going to go down here, but that's totally fine. No, he won't, because we'll get the Heat Wave off, and I don't think Garchomp's going to live that. He's critical enough, yeah. Do we underspeed the Amoonguss, though, is the question. We do not underspeed the Amoonguss. Okay, he puts Torkoal to sleep. That's okay. We get the Taunt off. That's basically the damage we wanted to do. The damage we wanted to inflict. Alright, who's coming out next? Iron Bundle. Okay. Which honestly is really smart. Iron Bundle, of course, being a special attacker. Pretty much the only damage I have is Foul Play, so it's not going to do a whole lot of damage to him. I'm just going to go for a Heat Wave just in case I do get that first turn Wake Up. And we are going to... I'm going to go for a Foul Play, though, on Amoonguss. I just want to get rid of it as soon as possible. Okay, Amoonguss goes back. Who else comes in? Fluttermane. Alright. Well, my My foul play isn't going to do much damage to Fluttermane again either because special attacker. But at least it's neutral damage, you know? Oranguru lives. Wow, that Iron Bundle does not have a whole lot of damage. Okay, Heat Wave. And we're just going to go for foul play onto Iron Bundle just to break Sash in case he has a Sash, I guess. Hopefully we wake up this turn and get a Heat Wave off. Nope. I could probably count on one hand the number of times that I woke up on like the first or second turn. Easily one hand. Alright. So, we both go down. That's okay. We'll come out with... these two, and we did lose Sun and we did lose Trick Room, which is unfortunate. Okay. I'm not sure that we can do anything super effectively here, because Iron Bundle will just kill Brute Bonnet, and Annihilate will go down to Fluttermane's Shadow Ball. So I'll just go for a Rage Fist, and we will go for... well, I guess I could Sucker Punch. I'll go for a Sucker Punch and see if that really does anything to Fluttermane. It'll be neutral damage, but we'll see. Fluttermane goes down. Excellent. And it was a crit. That crit might have mattered. Okay, Freeze Dry. Gonna hurt. And Bundle doesn't take a whole lot of damage from that. That's okay. Mungus coming back in. I'll go for the Drain Punch into Iron Bundle just to get the super effective damage off. And I will try for a Spore into a Mungus. I don't think it's going to go off. I think we're just going to get Freeze Dried again. You know what? No. Let's go for a Sucker Punch into Iron Bundle and see if we... Okay, Iron Bundle goes for attack. But going to see if Sucker Punch would take it out, but not the case. So Annihilate is definitely going to sleep. Fortunately, though, Brute Bonnet can't be Spored. His Amoonguss, though, can be Spored because he is no longer Grass type. And I should have gone with that. But I wasn't really expecting him to protect on Bundle. There was really no reason for him to do so. He could have got the KO on Brute Bonnet easily. There's not a whole lot that he can do to Annihilate, so I'm going to go for a Bulk Up, just in case I do wake up. And we are going to Sucker Punch on Bundle. Bundle goes down. And Amoonguss really can't do damage. So, and he can't Spore me anymore. But he can Pollen Puff. Oh, he tried to heal. Pollen Puff should actually take out Brute Bonnet because Brute Bonnet is quad weak to bug. So that might happen. Yeah, I'm still just going to go for a bulk up here. And should I go for a Sucker Punch just to get damage or Spore? You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for the Spore. Annihilate still fucking asleep. And Brute Bonnet with that Spore. Now your turn to take a nap, sir. Sleep. Sleep forever. Bulk up. And we are going to go for the Bullet Seed on the now very weak to grass Amoonguss. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We're guaranteed to get 4 because I have loaded dice, and that's enough to take them out. Feels so good to just shit all over that mushroom. I am so chuffed. Sorry, Jeffrey, I hate your mushroom. Alrighty. You ever get like an eyelash in your eye and it feels like there's like an entire tree branch in there? Just, God. All right. Let's go, Derek. Excuse me. Alright, so Fluttermane, Chi-Yu, Whirring Moon, Jumpluff, which is basically discount Amoonguss, but with Tailwind, Wo-Chien, and Torkoal. So, he also has a Sun team, so I really don't lose anything by setting up my own Sun, because he's going to do it anyway. But his team really does not like Trick Room, except for Wo-Chien. And of course Torkoal, but I mean, whatever. So, what I actually think I'm going to do... I'm going to set it up like I normally do. But I am going to bring in Fluttermane in the back just for Torkoal, since it's so bulky that even I think my physical attackers would have a hard time taking it down. And since he does have quite a bit of firepower and flying on his team, I'm not actually going to bring Brute Bonnet, but I will bring Annihilate, I think. And that might end up being a mistake, because my Brute Bonnet is the only one that has any, like, decent priority, but we'll see. He's got 2 fire types and a flying type, and statistically he has to bring at least one of them. Alright. So... you get to photosynthesis. Please be speed. Special attack. Crap. I don't like that. But Oranguru, please get this off. Please, please, please. What are... oh, Ghost. That's not great. But we'll try. Storm. Eject pack. Probably going to bring out Torkoal. Although that was crazy that he got Wo-Chien moved before Fluttermane? That's a little concerning. That Fluttermane must have like a 0 in speed. Ugh, I don't like that. Alright. We are going to go for the double eruption. And we are going to instruct onto my Torkoal. And I probably will underspeed his Torkoal because mine has a 0 in speed. The Ivy, anyway. But his could too. His is not shiny, so the chances of his having a 0 in speed is also pretty good. I lucked out big time by getting this Torkoal. I expected to be hunting this thing for like a week, and it took me like 2 hours. Like, crazy. Crazy how fast it went. But he's also going to Terrafire, and I bet also going to Eruption. But, ooh, very significant damage on Torkoal. Do we move? Does Oranguru move? No, okay. So his Torkoal, we must either speed tied or his Torkoal is just slightly faster. But, plus side, because he's so weakened, his Eruption doesn't do crap. And they both go down. Love it. I love that for him. I would be interested in knowing, like, specifically what his IVs were on that Torkoal. Because if that was just a speed tie, like, just perfect. But I bet it wasn't a 0 speed IV. Okay, Chiyu comes out. And you blew your Terra, sir, so that Wo-Chien is looking a little dead. Especially with how fast... Okay, battle was canceled. Especially with how fast it was opening turn, the first turn, Wo-Chien moved before Fluttermane. Fluttermane's base speed, I think, is 120... No, not 125. What is it? Fluttermane. It isn't low. That's the thing. Oh, 135. Yeah, it is not low. So for Wo-Chien to outspeed his own Fluttermane is kind of ridiculous. Kind of crazy. We are definitely going to continue. This is really working for us. Awesome. It figures, though, that, like, I go and find, like, a Trick Room Torkoal team, a Torque Room, if you will, and build it based on somebody else's build, essentially, and it doesn't really work for me. I build my own Torque Room, you know, weeks after the fact. I don't even remember the other Pokemon on that team other than Oranguru and Torkoal, and it goes very well. So, go figure. Maybe I'm a little bit better at team building than I thought. Yeah, I'm not. I'm garbage. All right. So, we've got, excuse me, Kingambit, Fluttermane, Arcanine, Chien-Pao, Dragonite, and Iron Bundle. This team super does not like fire, and they do not like Trick Room. On the plus side, too, is that they don't really have a good response to not only special attackers, but Trick Room. They could potentially have Taunt somewhere on there, but of course, Oranguru can just not have to deal with that. But we are going to bring these guys. Yeah. Going to bring them. Let's see how it goes. Dragonite, though, with Extreme Speed could theoretically outspeed my priority, because Extreme Speed is a +2 priority instead of most priority moves, which are just +1. But, okay, special attack. Again, don't super enjoy that. I'd rather Fluttermane get a speed boost. Protect and Trick Room. Freeze Ray goes out. Oranguru takes that very, very well. And he does double up into Oranguru, but Oranguru lives. So we get the Trick Room. Oranguru is not delicate by any means, but, I mean, if it gets doubled in on by, you know, something pretty powerful or even something super effective, he probably won't live. But we're going to Terra here, and we are going to do the Eruption thing. And we are going to Instruct. I sit here and twiddle my beard like a evil villain. Gross. Just filth. I can't believe that Fluttermane wasn't Sash, having no investment in speed. Well, it probably has some investment in speed, but not as much as like a Fluttermane normally would. And typically when Fluttermane doesn't invest in speed, you want to kind of make it a little bit chunky or survivable or something like that. So kind of weird that he didn't have Focus Sash. Oh, that poor Gambit. Alright, yeah, we're gonna go for Eruption again. I suppose we could take I just said it too. Extreme Speed damage, which would reduce the damage that Eruption can do because I'd have less health. Yeah, but my high defense is pretty key here. Oh, and he also went for the Sucker Punch. So, unfortunately, this Eruption's not going to do a whole lot of damage. Since they both resist it, he's probably multi-scale. But, at least, if either of them are holding Sashes, great. So, but, Torkoal's kind of toast at the moment. That was a crit on Gambit. Still did nothing. But that's how quickly Eruption falls off. It is kind of nutty. I'm gonna go for Protect on Torkoal to avoid the Sucker Punch from King Gambit. Dragonite could still Extreme Speed on Oranguru, but I don't think he will. And I'm actually gonna go for a Foul Play onto Gambit. Dragonite Extreme Speeds into Torkoal. Oh, he doesn't go for a Sucker Punch. Interesting. What are we doing? Assurance. Okay, so Guru goes down. We will bring out the Brute Bonnet. Okay, got my attack boost here. And just going to go for a Heat Wave. I don't think I'm going to get it off because I'm probably going to take an Extreme Speed to the face. But we will go for a Spore onto Dragonite, I think is a good answer here. Oh, he goes for Brute Bonnet. Alright. So we do get the Heat Wave off, so we're going to get a good amount of damage. Okay, Torkoal goes down to its own Life Orb. Although, do we have... Does Sunlight end here? Yeah, okay, so we lose Trick Room and Sunlight. That's okay. They are kind of low enough that I should be able to get one of them with Sucker Punch. And I'm actually going to go for Protect on Annihilate just to avoid the Assurance or the Sucker Punch. And I'm going to go for a Sucker Punch onto Gambit. Okay, Dragonite's still asleep. Gambit goes down. And we will go for a Rage Fist just because it's neutral damage. And I guess Sucker Punch here too, just because I don't think Bullet Seed is going to do a whole lot because it's quad resisted. Okay, battle's canceled. Never mind. Kind of surprised too that once I clicked into Spore, I was like, oh no, he probably has a Lumberry like I put on my Dragonite. I miss. Well, I mean, it was the unranked battles, the normal battles in Sword and Shield. You could like list yourself before you went into the battle. You could say, hey, do you want your opponent to look at your team after you're done with your battle? And you could opt into that. So you could opt in and say, no, I don't want my enemy player to look at my team. But if you said yes, you could also look at the enemy's team. So after a battle, if they did something really interesting or you wanted to see how something was built or something like that, after the battle it would say, hey, do you want to look at their team? And you could say yes, and you could look at their team, their moves, their stats, everything about their team. So you could see exactly how they built them and how they did what they did. And you could also see like their hold items and all of that. You'd see everything. And I really wish that they would do that for ranked. I see no reason why you would not do that. Because like in that battle, I really want to know what that Dragonite was holding. If not a Lumberry, you know? Or like, I think was it this battle or the battle before where that Fluttermane was not invested in speed and went down in one hit. I want to know what was it holding, if not a Focus Sash. Like, I can only get so much information from things like Pokemon Home, or not Home. Is it Home? No, I don't remember. The phone app, and then Pikalytics. Like, I can only get so much data, like, overall for that. I want to know, like, specific instances of, like, Woo, we made it to Master Ball again. I want to know, ooh, top 3,000. I placed higher than I did last time. Yes. Okay, I'm taking a picture of this one. I didn't take a picture of my Master Ball placement the first time, which I really should have, because it was my first time in Master Ball this generation. Actually, I don't even think I got to Master Ball in Gen 8. Not only did I start Gen 8 late, I think Gen 8 came out in, like, what was it, like November of 2019? And I didn't get a Switch with Shield until, like, the beginning of October of 2020, which I'm really glad I did, because, yeah, you know what happened in October 2020, or March of 2020. Everything went to shit. So I started a little bit late, and I kind of got into... Gen 8 is actually where I started my shiny obsession. Before that, I just didn't care. I would breed my Pokemon, get them to have their stats. If they weren't shiny, that was great. I didn't care. But my very first Pokemon that I started competitively breeding was Litten, because Incineroar is just kind of gross and stupid, and he was even more so in Gen 8. So he was the first one I set my sights on, and within, like, I don't know, maybe 20 eggs, I got a shiny Litten, and I was just like, I need to make all of them shiny. And so that delayed my, like, first steps into VGC by a few more months. So I didn't really get into, like, Gen 8 VGC until, like, 8 months into its life cycle, which is really, really late. Especially considering how Gen 8 went about with the regulations. They changed the rule set every month. So it was not a great strategy on my part to delay as long as I did. But I am going to take a quick little break. I started a little late today. At 7:30. I normally start at 7, but I wanted a little extra time to spend with the husband and get something in his belly, because he turns into a hangry monster when he's hungry. So started a little bit late. So this is technically the top of the hour break for me. I will be back in a short while, but I made it to Master Ball again, and I placed in the top 3,000. I'm happy. I'm chuffed. And it's all because of a stupid turtle and his monkey friend. All right, I will be right back. See you in a minute. Alrighty, I am back. I stepped outside for a quick cigarette, and usually when we go outside, we take our cat outside, and he's not like an outdoor cat, like he doesn't roam the neighborhood or anything like that, because I'm kind of in the camp that that's a little irresponsible, and ecologically unfriendly because of how damaging cats are to wildlife. But he stays on the patio, and he stays within sight, and typically he behaves. Although he does try to go after birds. He's never caught a bird. Well, he has, but the bird asked for it. Like, the bird came up to him. Like, whatever. Maybe you shouldn't be in the gene pool, you know? Anyway, he will murder mice with just extreme prejudice, which I'm A-okay with. But usually he's really good at following commands, kind of almost dog-like, where, you know, you tell him to go inside and he goes inside. But lately, man, he has been just kind of a little shit and doesn't listen. And he's just like, nah, I'm staying out here. And it's just like, sorry, dude. You can't stay out here by yourself. You are a little bit not smart enough to be an outside cat. All right. Scoodle. All right, Scoodle, what you got? You've got a Chi-Yu, Wo-Chien, Annihilate, Arcanine, Fluttermane, and Iron Bundle. That team certainly doesn't like Trick Room. You do okay in Sun, really, but not Trick Room. Again, though, if they double up into Oranguru, I don't think Oranguru is gonna live. Especially if it's Chi-Yu Fluttermane. Chi-Yu will, of course, shred my special defense, and they could go for a Heat Wave, Dazzling Gleam, and I don't know that Oranguru would live. But we're gonna do it. We are gonna do it. Yeah, I'll take the mushroom, even though he's got 2 fire types and a grass type, which doesn't bode well for the type of damage that he does. But we'll take him anyway. He's been a good team player. We have not yet taken Chi-Yu. Well, we took Fluttermane that one time, but we didn't use it. But we have not yet taken Chi-Yu Fluttermane as an opener. Alright. So, totally fine with this. Bundle gets the speed, and Chi-Yu unfortunately gets the sun, but shouldn't be too much of a problem. Let's go Trick Room. I don't think he's going to double up. I'm pretty sure he's going to try and, like, either Hydro Pump into Torkoal or, yeah, Hydro Pump. Which, kind of weird. Hydro Pump's going to do half damage. And Dark Pulse comes out. Oranguru lives. When I built this Oranguru, I built it specifically against Chi-Yu doing a Dark Pulse with a Life Orb to Oranguru. So that's why my Oranguru is like fully invested in special defense. So this exact scenario. Alright, we're gonna Terra, we are gonna Eruption, and we are gonna Instruct. It's gonna be not very effective on Chi-Yu, but Chi-Yu's not, you know, super sturdy, so I don't see it living 2 Eruptions back to back. Okay, Chi-Yu goes for the Protect, that's fine. Kind of just delaying the inevitable here, my dude. Oh, they go for a double Protect. They want to waste my Trick Room here. Alright. I got you. So we do lose a turn of Trick Room, so that's unfortunate, but we should be okay next turn unless he goes for a double protect, and him getting a double protect is really unlikely. He could go for it, and like I might not get one of them, but I'll get the other, you know? I guess he could go for like a Terra Water on Iron Bundle and just resist it, because right now he's going to take neutral damage since he's half ice. But nope, no protects. But on his part, not a bad strategy. When you're up against Trick Room, sometimes the best thing you can do is stall. So really not a bad strategy on his part to double protect like that. To stall out Trick Room, because I basically just wasted an entire turn of Trick Room. And unlike most other like field conditions like terrain or weather, there is no way to extend Trick Room. It is always 5 turns. Alright, Fluttermane comes out. What is the Sun gonna do to Fluttermane here? Fluttermane is going to get speed. Cool. Eruption. And... yeah, there's no reason to not instruct here. Again, he's counterplaying the Trick Room very, very well. Also, what I kind of just realized is Eruption only has 5 PP, and I didn't give this Torkoal PP up, which is probably a mistake. I'll fix that after this. So I don't have any more PP to do anything. We should have 1 turn of Trick Room left, right? Yeah. We sure do. So I'm out of eruptions, which sucks. But we're not down and out. Fortunately. We can still do some heat waves. But this specific scenario, just delaying the Trick Room is very, very, very smart on his part. So I do appreciate that, you know, as counterplay. Okay, Fluttermane does go for the double protector, but doesn't get it. He goes Terra Fire to resist. But Fluttermane's not going to live. Annihilate will, but he's going to be very, very weak. So if he was, like, Final Gambit, it ain't going to work. Was kind of hoping for a crit, but, you know, whatever. And we do lose Trick Room here, so that is unfortunate. However, we do have Fruit Bonnet, Mushroom Friend in the back with priority, so I'm not super worried about it. Although we do lose Sunlight, so we do lose that damage bonus, but that's okay. Annihilate is low enough that a Sucker Punch should just take care of it. And I'm just going to Foul Play just for good measure. Doesn't matter. So, Annihilate goes down. He tried. He did exactly everything he should do to counterplay Trick Room, but it's the eruption damage from Torkoal is just nutty and really just gross. So he really had no way to really like prevent that from happening, or at least mitigate it. He had no way to mitigate that eruption damage. I'm actually going to quit battling, but we're going to continue the stream. I'm going to quick fix that Torkoal with some PP ups. Which I really should have done to begin with, but typically it's not needed in VGC because the battles usually don't last long enough for that to become relevant. Even on 5 PP moves, it usually doesn't last long enough for that to become relevant. Usually. But like we saw in that case, it did. And once in a very great while, you'll also see Pokemon with pressure, which doubles your PP usage. So you go for an eruption once, it uses 2 PP. So actually, a Pokemon with pressure would totally shut this down because I would basically be using 4 PP per turn when I do the double eruptions. So that actually could be interesting. A lot of legendaries get pressure. I don't know too many like, regular Pokemon that get pressure. I know some do, but could be interesting. Maybe. Oh, I went too far. I didn't go far enough. There we go. And if you ever need PP ups, just do raids. You get so many. Like, prior to like Gen 8, Gen 9, getting a PP up was not fun or easy. Like, usually you either had to deal with like the set amount that there were in the world as far as like, random treasure, or you had to basically dupe the items, like either with a hacking mod or with glitches. Like, that was your only option. And in most cases, I'm not pro like genning or like hacking your Pokemon in. I especially with the newer generations like Gen 8 and Gen 9, there really was no reason to. But PP up is one of those things where it's like, it's almost needed in some cases, and I don't know why they put it behind such a significant scarcity wall. I don't think we can go above 8. Yeah, no, we can't. All right. They have gotten better. Essentially, their answer to prevent hacking and things like that was to just not have things so hard to get and scarce. But one thing that they've not done that a lot of people are like, why? It's we're on Gen 9 and we still don't have this. And that is a way to reduce IVs. So now you can increase a Pokemon's IV, increase it. You basically increase the expression of it so that the stat behaves as if it were naturally that. But if you go to breed a Pokemon that's been bottle capped, it will still pass down its shitty IVs. So they just change the expression of the stat. They don't actually change the stat itself, if that makes sense. But there's still no way to get 0 IVs, which in a lot of cases for Trick Room is preferable, that you want a 0 IV in speed. And in some very niche cases, you also want a 0 IV in attack, especially for Pokemon that are weak to dark, because of the move Foul Play, which actually uses the target's attack stat to deal damage. So in those instances, you want a 0 attack IV, and let's say for whatever reason, you have a dark or a psychic type that operates in Trick Room, you want 0 speed and 0 attack, but there's no way to do that. To engineer that, you have to find it naturally. You have to find it out in the wild naturally. which is dumb. Like, why are you guys still doing this? But, is it this one? I think this one has a 1 in its attack. But I swear I had one that had a 0 in attack. That's not this one, but this one has a 0 in speed, and it's shiny. So, great for Trick Room. This one I might make a bulky Flutter Mane and put it on a Trick Room team, but I haven't yet. But I can actually show these off now. So, Legends Arceus. Spiritomb is, or was, not common at all. It would only show up in one specific area, in one specific map, at night, and even then, it was only like maybe like a 30% chance for it to even appear, and that's after you did a quest over the entire world, or the entire world map of Arceus, to collect 108 little, like, fire things. So after you did all of that, which would take easily an entire day, even if you were playing nonstop, like this took like maybe like 5 to 6 hours. After you did all of that, then Spiritomb would appear in this one random area, or this one specific area of this one specific map, only at night, and only a 30% chance to appear. So I got a wild hair up my ass to shiny hunt this damn thing, right? And I knew it was going to be gross and stupid and take me 500 years to do, but I was determined to do it. And it did take me a good amount of time, but I ended up getting it like 3 days into the hunt, which statistically was ridiculous. And I got it on 2/22/22. And I wonder if is that in your... Oh, it's not. But yeah, I got it on 2/22/22 on a Tuesday. And yeah, I still love this thing. And what makes it even kind of more special, sort of, is that particular Spiritomb in Legends Arceus had... Well, the community thinks so. I don't know. Supposedly had a higher chance to be an alpha, and I got it shiny non-alpha, which is, if it's got a higher chance to be alpha, if it's a non-alpha, which should be rarer and shiny. And I just was so excited. But yeah, so he's here. This is my Ursaluna that I spent most of the last 2 weeks shiny hunting. Like, basically all my free time was spent shiny hunting this thing. And I ended up getting it really, really fast. And it is a former alpha, so I've got the alpha mark and it's got the jumbo mark. So when I send it out, it's Ursaluna the Great. And this thing is going to be a monster in Reg D. Like, most of the, higher level VGC players are just like, yeah, the genies are going to be bad, and Regieleki is going to be a problem, but you know what's going to be a bigger problem? Ursaluna. And I agree, Ursaluna is going to be a giant problem. And I did also see a little bit of research, too, that if people are going to be using the genies, they might also be using Enamorus. And in certain cases, Enamorus will benefit from having Cute Charm as an ability. And Enamorus is also always female. So this Ursaluna is also female, so Cute Charm won't work. This Ursaluna is as ideal as possible. I do still have to fix its IVs, though. I think its IVs are kind of like, random. But yeah. Ideally, though, well, okay, I shouldn't say it's ideal. Ideally, what I wanted it to do was have a 0 speed or a very, very low speed, which it doesn't. Its speed is probably like, I don't know, like 22 or something, which isn't great for a Trick Room. You want that IV as low as possible, but I think this Ursaluna is going to be a monster. And I can't wait. I can't wait. And then Basque Legion. I like Basque Legion, but I don't know how good it's going to be in Reg D, but we'll see, I guess. But yeah, I just wanted to show those off because I was really proud of them. Especially the Spiritomb. That Spiritomb is probably my favorite shiny because of how rare it is. I do a bunch of date skipping, so the date is no longer like relevant at all on any of my Pokemon. But that one should still have the tag of when it was caught correctly on 2/22/22. But yeah, like yeah. No, that one seems right. This one definitely isn't right. I did this many months ago, and it says that it was first met on 3/25. I doubt that. Or like this one, 6/6/2023. It is 6/3/2023. So that just shows how long I've been date skipping. But yeah, there some things you just have to date skip for, especially like if you're farming Terra Shards. You have to. I wish you didn't have to. I wish you could just reset the Terra Dens like, you know, some in-game mechanic, but it's super not the case. But anyway, I'm actually gonna ask you guys, would you guys like to see more VGC battles, or should we go do some shiny hunting? Since that's typically what I do on Saturdays. No law saying we can't do both. So do you guys want to see more battles, or do you want to see some shiny hunting? Because if we shiny hunt, I might actually go over to Legends Arceus. Anybody have any input? Actually, I'm going to take a quick peek at my Team 2 here. I do wish, though, like, there was a way to battle in VGC format without it like really affecting your rank, because I mean I could do just the regular like open normal battles, but those basically have no rules whatsoever, so like the meta there is like totally different. But yeah, a lot of people to get their like battle fix, because battling is fun. A lot of people go to Showdown for that, and I really wish, like, I appreciate Showdown, don't get me wrong. I'm not a big fan of Smogon and the community and the rules necessarily, like their tiering list and bans and the rule sets for each of the tiers and things like that. I don't care for that at all. It's just I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just not my thing. So, but they have a tool called Showdown, which is basically a battle simulator. And you essentially just type in what you want, and you get that Pokemon, right? A lot of people are very vocal that they would rather just play Showdown than play the actual game, which I really wish they wouldn't say that in that way, because that just gives Game Freak and Nintendo and the Pokemon Company really good license to take down specifically Showdown, but they could go for all of Smogon if they really wanted to. Just given how aggressive and protective Nintendo is over their intellectual properties, I really wish people would not say that, so it does not give them any incentive to go after those tools because they are extremely useful tools. But what can you do? Right. So, well, nobody responded to whether we should continue battling or if we should shiny hunt. So, I'm going to call it good there because I don't want to go on a losing streak, which usually happens when I go on a really long win streak, which we are currently on. So I am actually going to do some shiny hunting. Again, I didn't have anything planned for a shiny hunt. But what I think... Actually, you know what? I don't know that I can really effectively shiny hunt in Arceus because I don't get audio from my my capture card into my headset. I would have to play around with something to funnel the audio into my headset, and I really haven't sat down to like figure that out. And I'll be the first one to say that I am, as far as like, you know, a millennial that's grown up with the internet and technology, I am technologically illiterate. The magic internet box just does its thing, and I just enjoy the internet. So that's how I roll. But let's actually take a look at the outbreaks that are happening right now and see if there's anything terribly interesting, because I actually haven't even looked at the outbreaks going on in my world. Oh, I have quite a few. None of them really like exciting though. Oh, they're just all down there. Yeah. I have heard rumors that Spidops might be getting something in the DLC. I think people were talking about like specific Terra forms, similar to like Gigantamax forms, how you could Dynamax anything, but certain Pokemon got a Gigantamax form, which just changed their appearance. It didn't really change anything specifically about the Pokemon, which I kind of assume is maybe what they're going for with Terra forms, is that it will change the form of the Pokemon. But I mean, it could also be something like closer to like Mega Evolution, where it does actually change something intrinsic about the Pokemon. Maybe, who knows? But I did hear that might be happening to Spidops, which would be great, because Spidops was such a disappointment in how just underwhelming it is in every single way. I think it's one of the only Pokemon, though, that gets access to Sticky Web, which is why it's just not heard of in Gen 9, because Spidops is so bad that not even Sticky Web can make up for how bad it is. But I am going to check this Combi outbreak over here. Our friend Mop, who hasn't been on the stream for a while, and that's, you know, not because Mop doesn't want to, it's just I have not had like a normal Saturday for quite a long time. So we just haven't had like a shiny Saturday in a long time. But we should get back on that, because I enjoy Mop's company. Even though there's, you know, the language barrier, they're Canadian, I'm not, you know, I still enjoy them. And see, there they are in chat right there, and communicating with emojis, because of that language barrier. So emojis are like the universal language of everyone. So that's how we primarily communicate. No shiny bees, but let's get to murdering some of these little guys. Did I put Torkoal away? I sure did. Okay. Alright. The one thing I don't like about doing outbreaks on stream is that I don't have a counter to keep track of how many of these things I'm knocking out. So I just have to make a mental note, and for me to keep talking and keep that mental note is a little difficult. Otherwise, I have to count them out loud. Oh, I saw that Squevit and the Smoliv, and I was like, what the hell is that? They were just a little screwed up in each other's models there. Okay. Can I get you? No. Yes. Yes, Muck. Bees. Say it with me. Bees. I think this is 7. This is either 7 or 8. Let's call it 7. So this is number 8. Nine, 10, 11. If I find a shiny combi before, a shiny female combi. 12. Yeah. We're gonna do it. The other day, though, I did have a Vespiquen outbreak, and I did actually hunt it there for a hot minute. Didn't find a shiny. So, oh look, a female. Not shiny, though. I think that's 14. We'll call it 14. Oh my god. Just kill the bee. 15. 16. I mean, it is possible. And 17. In its description page, you would see that, you know, you either hatched it or caught it, and it wasn't like, you know, you found it as like a Vespiquen already shiny. 18. So yeah, I think that would make it like more special. Or you could just keep it as a combi. 19, 20, 21, 22. I do wish, though, that Vespiquen was just a little bit better. They kind of neutered Vespiquen in Gen 8 by removing Heal Order, and I think they also removed Defend Order in Gen 8, but I think Defend Order is back in. I think. 25. Oh, I'm getting a little off course here. 6. 27. 28. 29. 30. Okay. So we need to do another 30 because to get the max shiny odds, you have to knock out 60. So that was 1. And well-known YouTuber, PokeTuber Austin John Plays, suggests, you know, you do 30 twice rather than 60 once because it's easier to count to 30 and keep track of 30 twice than it is to keep track of 60 once. So that's what I do. I count to 30 and then I start over and go back to 1. Although this is number 4. Should be number 4 on the second set. If that makes sense. 5. 6. 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. I was a little worried that he wouldn't target the combi first, but I don't want to go too far because I don't want to kill combi that are not part of the outbreak and screw up my count. And we should be on 12, 13. Okay, I think we're a little off, but 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm actually gonna scoot away and despawn some of them that ran away the opposite direction. Why is it that it was pretty warm today? Why is it that now that the sun is starting to like really set, that now it's really heating up in here? I don't get it. Those are a little far away. I don't know if those are part of the outbreak. This should be 25, 6, 27. 8. Kill these 2 and it should be good. And I like harder hunts like this one, like finding a shiny female combi. Other than Spiritomb in Arceus, I think my hardest hunt for any kind of shiny was probably 3-segment to Dunsparce, and I really super duper lucked out with that because I was very much expecting for that hunt to take like literal days or weeks, as I've seen some YouTubers demonstrate that it is not a quick hunt. But again, super lucked out and got the 3-segment to Dunsparce within a few hours of the first day of looking. Like, I think it was like maybe my like 8th or 9th shiny that I found. Like, it was not very long at all. So super duper lucked out with that. I then did try to find a shiny family of 3 Mousehold, but I was not successful. I've probably put on, I don't know, maybe around 15, like maybe the middle teens worth of sandwiches, shiny sandwiches, and I have found exactly 1 shiny Mousehold. And that's because it is almost impossible to visually confirm a shiny Mousehold because it is so bad. But it's also so bad and so small. So trying to see the shiny is like nearly impossible. You have to knock them out in the Let's Go feature. And of course, if it's shiny, your Pokemon will refuse to fight it. And that's basically like the best almost only way to find it. And what even sucks more is that the area that it's found in... Oops, I didn't mean to do that. The area that it's found in over here, near the Pokemon League, this mountain right here is very badly mapped. Like, the mountain itself, like the wall, has collision, of course, so you can't go through it, but the wall is just a two-dimensional wall, and the actual ground continues underneath it. And for whatever reason, they decided to make that ground underneath it spawnable area. So I actually have a picture of it. There was a shiny young goose in there one time I took a peek. So not only can I not visually confirm the shiny Mousehold, or Tandemaus rather, I also run the chance of like a shiny spawning in that wall where I cannot access it by any means. Because some of them spawn just way too far into that wall. If they're close enough to the wall, you can kind of cheese it. You can throw your ball out, and it has a certain radius of how it's going to initiate a battle. Or you could also just run into it because your hitbox also has a certain radius. But they have to be really close for you to do that. And if you get it just right too, you can have your Pokemon run out in the Let's Go feature to go fight it, but it doesn't initiate a battle. It just goes to try and kill it. So that really doesn't super help you. So that is probably when I do get family of 3 Mousehold, that will probably be my rarest shiny. Probably statistically even rarer than my Spiritomb. Maybe. 3-segment Dunsparce is still pretty statistically rare. Mine is also marked. So, I, however, though, am not the greatest at math, but I think I calculated it to be like a 1 in 4.8 million chance for it to be 3-segment shiny and marked. So potentially I could have been on that shiny hunt for a very long time, and I was not, so lucked out there. Alright. I do wish, though, that this Combee outbreak could be, like, somewhere else, because Combee naturally spawn here, so it's hard to tell what's a part of the outbreak and what's not. Like, I can tell, like, these ones, because of how densely clustered they are, these are the outbreak, but, like, you know, there's nothing stopping, like, this one. This one might not be part of the outbreak. There's nothing stopping it from, like, wandering over here and, like, pretending it's part of the outbreak. Or like these ones. These ones up here definitely are not part of the outbreak. Very definitely. But again, there's nothing stopping them from meandering over here and like getting close to where the ones from the outbreak are spawning and, you know, just blending in. So like me knocking out 60 of them, I can't be 100% sure that I've knocked out 60 of the outbreak correctly. But I did lose track of counting a few times there, so and I rounded, or I estimated down on my count, so it should be 60, if not more. I don't remember how many maximum can spawn in an outbreak. I think it's probably closer to maybe like 120 or 150. But to get the best shiny odds, you have to knock out at least 60. At least that's what everyone's research said. But then again, like Gen 8, there was a feature in Gen 8 where wild Pokemon would sometimes spawn with like this fiery yellow aura around them. And at first people really didn't know what that signified. And people just kind of, speculated, maybe it just guarantees an IV or something like that, which it did. But it wasn't discovered until like almost 3/4 of Gen 8's lifespan had, elapsed when the community really found out, oh wait, this also boosts shiny odds. And people were like, oh wow, we've been doing this wrong the whole time. So, who knows? The 60 rule could be, really a 55 rule, or not even a rule at all, and knocking them out doesn't really do anything at all, and we just think it does. I doubt that. I think knocking them out actually does do something. Because I've done... Well, I've never shiny hunted in an outbreak that I did not do the 60 knockouts, but I have come across only 2 outbreaks where a shiny was present without knocking anything out. Like, it was just present there when I showed up. That's only happened twice. And I've put a lot of hours into this goddamn game, so for it to only happen twice makes me think that it's far less common than, knocking them out. Perhaps. I don't know. Could have swore I saw something orange over here. Could have just been the rocks behind the tree here, or in the tree. Making me think it's a separate object. Could be. Could be. Anyway. Although if I do get a shiny male, which I'll very likely get, I am naming it Mop, and I am sending it to Canada immediately. And I suggested Mop do this, and I don't know if they did do it, but I suggested that they take the few shiny male Combies that they hatched, because they were doing a Masada method for a shiny female. I suggested they take the shiny males that they got and put them in the surprise trade and just nickname them I'm Sorry. It was funny to me. It was funny in my head. Or like male Salandits, same way. Just find a shiny male Salandit, throw it into surprise trade, and just name it I'm Sorry. He's your problem now. I can also boost, I think, with the outbreak method, after 60, I think the odds are like 1 in 1400. And then with the shiny sandwich, you can reduce it down to 1 in 512. I think either that or it's a little bit less than 1400. I am not 100% sure because I don't have the shiny odds chart memorized. Yes, there are charts. People take this game very seriously. Not that I don't. But I might throw on a sandwich here. Because I want to get that shiny female. And just, hey Matt, I got a shiny female combi. Hey look, a female, but it's not shiny. I'm a good friend. Oh, okay. Again, Smoliv and Diglett there. I saw the brown and I saw the green, and my brain immediately tried to like run through the encyclopedia of Pokemon, what matches brown and green, and came up with nothing. Alright, I am gonna save here. And actually I can disconnect from the internet since we're not really doing anything. Oh, you did do a couple of outbreaks and only found males? I'm sorry. Again, though, you still have, like, surprise trade fodder to, like, torture somebody with. Alright. Saving again because I'm paranoid. And, oop, can't do a picnic while you're on Miraidon because reasons. And we are on incline. Okay, there we go. And do I want bug or do I want flying for this? I'm not sure. If I do bug, what else do I get? I get Kricketot. So maybe I should do flying. What is... Oh, I think I remember. I think it's prosciutto for flying. Cucumber, pickle, and 3 prosciutto. And then we can do any 2 except for sweet and sour. Wow, I have not been herb farming in a very long time. Let's do bitter and sweet. Ugh. Can you imagine, like, somebody actually serves you a sandwich that is just, like, a fuck ton of prosciutto and 3 slices of cucumber and 3 pickles on a French baguette? Like, and then they put some sort of, like, spicy herb on there that is bitter and, for whatever reason, sweet? Like, I'd be pissed. We got the wateriness of the cucumber. We've got the sour of the pickle, the super saltiness of the prosciutto. Like, this is just a sandwich with a flavor profile all over the place. Just put all the flavors in a sandwich. I mean, you also even get the umami of the prosciutto. Mostly just salt. All right. I talked when I was hanging out with my good friend Jess today for doing errands and going out to eat. I did mention that I use Spotify for my music. I really need to get like something else. Not that I dislike this music. I want something else. I want good battle music, and then I want like good like this music for shiny hunting. Something that you can just like kind of like tune your brain out to and just shiny hunt. Alright. I don't think we should get any Hoppips or anything like that. We could definitely get other Combi that are outside the outbreak, but that really doesn't matter because a shiny is a shiny. And outbreak Pokemon aren't special. Like, they don't have, like, you know, a higher chance of having increased stats or anything like that. It'd be cool if they did, but they don't. And I will check these Starlies, too, if I wander out too far. I think I do have a shiny Staraptor. But I don't know. Staraptor is just for a regional bird, for a Route 1 bird, it is pretty good. But it's just outclassed by other Route 1 birds like Talonflame and Corviknight. And I really wish that wasn't the case, but it was such a good addition in Gen 4 because it got close combat, it got aerial ace, it did decent damage. Like, it was head and shoulders above what we had in the past with like Pidgeot and Noctowl and yeah. And then what was the bird we had in Gen 5? Why don't I remember this? But and then like for a couple generations we just got like turds. And I think kind of the biggest letdown of like newer generations after Gen 4 was Toucanon. Like, interesting concept. We didn't have a Toucan Pokemon before, but why not just make it fire type? Like, its signature move is Beak Blast, which is I believe it's flying type, but it can burn, which is interesting. But I don't know. Its stats were garbage. Its ability was garbage. Like, the only thing that made it interesting was Beak Blast. We really didn't get like a good regional bird. Well, Pikipek. Or not Pikipek. Fletchling. Pre-evolution to Talonflame. That was kind of an outlier. Yeah. Anywho, I miss Staraptor. I miss when Staraptor was good. Did we have Brave Bird in Gen 4? I don't remember. But, oh well. I think we got Brave Bird in Gen 4. Either that or Gen 5. I don't remember. When I started doing VGC like with a little bit of seriousness, was Gen 5, and it was towards the end of Gen 5's life cycle. I guess it was really in Black and White 2 that I started doing VGC stuff. But like when I first got into VGC, I still didn't really understand the significance of EV training effectively. I would just get them up to the correct level, and kind of just leave it at that, and then just give them vitamins. So my EVs in Gen 5 were just kind of all over the place with like maybe a gradual spike in desired stat, which at the time wasn't terrible, because at the time in Gen 5 you could only potentially really pass 3 IVs from breeding with Pokemon, their parents. I think it was 3. It might have been even less than that. So getting a Pokemon with like good IVs was exceedingly difficult, and most people just didn't even fucking bother, and they would just gen their VGC Pokemon, which at the time super didn't blame them for, because if you wanted to be optimal all the time, I was just like, yeah, you kind of gotta. But because my EVs were like kind of sporadic and nebulous and not fine-tuned, I noticed that a lot of people, when I actually first got into VGC, I did in-person battles only. I didn't really want to go online. Don't ask me why. But I joined a local like Pokemon group that meets, actually not too far from where I live now. That meets up and they do their own little tournaments. They do Pokemon events and stuff like that. And I did, of course, a few tournaments. And I did actually pretty well. And people would tell me that, you know, they were not expecting my Starmie to be as tanky as it was. And I'm just like, I don't know why it's so tanky. Meanwhile, that Starmie probably had, like, crap EVs and, like, defense, special defense, and HP, like, stuff that really doesn't help Starmie be Starmie. You know? So, oh man, now that the sun is setting, these all kind of look orangey. Gross, I hate that. But yeah, I had a really good time. But I didn't, like I said, I didn't really understand how to be effective in competitive battling. But I do remember thinking that because I can't really, you know, get good IVs going, I you know, what was the point of, like, fine-tuning anything? So I just kind of brought whatever with vitamins and whatever I could cobble together. And my teams didn't really have any synergy. I just kind of brought Pokemon that I liked. And very much in the camp, I still am very much in the camp that you do better with Pokemon that you like than Pokemon that are just, you know, flavor of the month or OP. Which, like I said earlier, is probably why I'm doing better with, like, my Torque Room team than the Torque Room team that I built based on somebody's video, like, last month. So, because I built it by my own hand and I made those Pokemon from, like, basically the ground up, I feel like I have a better understanding of the team, so I can use them more effectively. If that makes sense. So, so I did pretty okay in Gen 5. And it really did get me into competitive battling and the Pokemon community as a whole. Because prior to that, I was a very young adult and still into Pokemon at a time when, as a young adult, you feel like you have to grow up and, like, leave aspects of childhood behind or people aren't going to take you seriously. And that's, as a young adult, like, having people take you seriously is, like, such a palpable need. Which, by the way, if anybody is a young adult watching, you don't need that. Let them not take you seriously and just move the fuck on with your life. I wasn't really super, not that I was ashamed, I just wasn't super interested in opening myself up to people not taking me seriously because I was a young adult that still played Pokemon. Now I don't give a shit. But so in those days, it was weird. So I figured I would join the group here in town and meet up with other adults, and there were kids, which not my favorite, that play Pokemon. But I will say that group that still meets to this day in town, they're more focused on the card game than they are the video game. But that, you know, how it goes. And the people there, I really appreciated their knowledge. I appreciated their teaching and everything. Like, it was all in all a good experience. I actually only have one bad experience from that group at all, and it was, as far as bad experiences go, like on the high end of good bad experiences, you know. And I really liked it. I stopped going. I don't know. I just stopped going eventually. But that was Gen 5. Gen 6 was X and Y. And X and Y, I went crazy with breeding and IVs and EV training, because Gen 6 was the... Ooh, there's a shiny. And it's male. Gen 6 was the generation that they introduced the... and there's a female right next to it. You could have been shiny. Gen 6 is the generation that they introduced the Destiny Knot breeding, where you could guarantee 5 IVs from either parent. So you could breed them down, basically, and distill your Pokemon into something that had 5 IVs, put that as a parent, distill it again, get another one that's got, you know, good IVs, and keep going like that, and consistently churn out 5 IV Pokemon. So I went nuts with that. Oh, and this one's carrying honey. Put away held item. I don't think honey has any practical use in this generation. I think it's just a sell item. You know what? I don't want to put them there. I'll put them here. And I'm not going to save. If I have to reset, I'll reset. I don't care about losing shiny boys. But went absolutely crazy in Gen 6. And I think Gen 6 was also when we got the Pokemon Bank. At least towards the end of Gen 6. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it was because I went to this Pokemon community or whatever, but I kept so many breed checks. Meaning Pokemon that aren't ideal but have, you know, maybe some redeeming quality, like, you know, finding a 5 IV Pokemon, but that 6th IV is, like, in defense, which almost nobody wants imperfect defense. Or, you know, whatever. It's for whatever reason, not optimal. But could be maybe desirable, which is what I thought. So I was like, I'm going to keep all my 4 IV Pokemon. Going to keep them all. So 4 IV, 5 IV Pokemon, I kept them all. And very quickly, I think Bank had 3,000 slots. I filled that thing up in like a month, easily. It got also to the point in Gen 6 that I had to get multiple copies of X and Y to store everything because I filled up Bank that quickly. And I think I have two copies of X and 2 copies of Y. And 2 of the 4 copies are literally just storage of garbage that, for whatever reason in my stupid brain, I thought somebody might want this one day, so it'll be good to have it on hand. No, nobody wants a 4 IV Pokemon, ever. Nobody really wants a 5 IV Pokemon, ever, really. 6 IV might be useful, because you could put that as a parent to breed, and you don't have to worry about, you know, them passing down a bad IV. It'll always be perfect every single time. You just have to worry about that one random IV, you know? So I kept a lot of garbage. And I never really addressed that. So when the switch was made from bank to home, I transferred everything from bank into home. And very quickly, my home started filling up, which is also kind of nutty because home fits, I think, 6,000. And I damn near filled that up shortly after it came out. So eventually I did put my nose to the grindstone and like got rid of a large portion of the crappy 4 IV Pokemon that I had, and just Pokemon that I was never going to do anything with. It very much became a hoarding problem of the mentality of, but I could give this to someone, you know? And I'm so glad I don't do that for life. But yeah, that was Gen 6. I went crazy. And I did as far as like competitive VGC online, I did pretty well. At that time, not a lot of people were using Trick Room. I was abusing the ever-loving crap out of Trick Room. And it really, 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 really worked for me. And that's when I really fell in love, too, with very bulky Pokemon, or like surprise bitch, I'm actually a tank type Pokemon, like Volcarona. I would run that full HP, full defense, 252 HP, 252 defense, and just quiver dance like 2 or 3 times, and then just sweep with it, just from the quiver dance boosts. And it was nutty to the point where my full HP, full defense Volcarona could eat a Stone Edge and live. And which is crazy because Volcarona even looks at a pebble and falls over dead. So I was really proud of that. I ran Pokemon. I tried to avoid getting information from like YouTube or from Smogon at the time, because I wanted to build the Pokemon myself, and I wanted to learn basically by getting my hands dirty. Eventually I really eased up on that, and I would go to Smogon and see, like, you know, what are other people possibly running. And I think a lot of people did that because when I would play VGC, of course, Smogon and VGC rules are wildly different. For example, Smogon has a sleep clause, meaning you can't put more than one Pokemon to sleep at a time in their competitive format. You can't use accuracy draining moves like a Sand Attack or whatever. And Smogon only displays data for their tier system and their rule system. So if you were to look up, like back in the day, like Volcarona on Smogon for Gen 6, it would give you data and information for their format and their rules. So people would not run optimal sets because of how popular Smogon was and still is. People would not run optimal sets for VGC specifically because they weren't allowed in Smogon. So I figured that out pretty early on, and I would kind of abuse that. And I noticed that the vast majority of people online would just copy-paste Smogon sets into VGC, which doesn't work all the time. And I would abuse the crap out of that. So I did very, very well in Gen 6. I don't remember the competitive format, though. They didn't have the ball system like we have now from 8 and 9. I don't remember the system that they had for, like, ranking. Truly and honestly. And then Gen 7. What was Gen 7? Gen 7 was Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon actually were my least favorite generations. And I know they get a lot of hate, like, anyway. Like, the community really didn't care for either of them. I also didn't. But they gave us Primarina, so that's all I could ask for. When they actually revealed the Alola starters, I was like, yeah, Litten's okay. And Rowlet, I loved Rowlet. Rowlet was just so cute, so stupid. And I was like, I love the owl. I love that owl. And then I was like, that stupid seal thing? No. Ew. Gross. And I remember memes of, like, taking Popplio and literally putting it, like, photoshopping it into a trash bin. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Feel the same way. Hate that thing. And then they revealed the final evolutions, and I saw Primarina, and I was just like, my gay ass is all about that. So, I actually went with Popplio when I first started Sun and Moon. Because I wanted to be the sparkly mermaid bitch. I actually didn't do a whole lot of competitive in Alola. I did, but not a whole lot. And it was kind of the same. It was actually a lot of the same from Gen 6. We still had Mega Evolution, and we had Z moves. I was not super sold on Z moves. They were like, not my thing. I don't know. Totally fell in love with Mega Evolution. I still think that was like one of the best gimmicks that they've done. Z moves were meh. And I still ran Trick Room. I still ran my Megas that I ran from the previous generation and still did pretty okay. But because I wasn't super in love with the generation, I didn't stick with it. So I pretty much played the games, made my teams. I probably made like maybe 2 or 3 boxes of VGC ready Pokemon. And I just kind of left it at that. Like, I didn't get super into it. And then Gen 8, I tried to go hard into Gen 8. I really, really did. Like I said earlier, though, I joined Gen 8 a little late in its lifespan. I was like, 4 or 5 months late into its lifespan? And then I fell head over heels for shiny hunting, which was totally unexpected. And that ate up even more of my time in Gen 8 VGC, which wasn't great because they changed the format every single month, which prior to Gen 8, they really didn't do that. Usually VGC was, VGC for the whole thing. Like, the rules didn't normally change. So, yeah. Got into shiny hunting, delayed my entry into VGC even further, and by the time that I got into Gen 8 VGC, the format... Did it allow legendaries? I don't think it did at first, when I first got in, but it did allow transfer Pokemon in, so it wasn't like Galar decks only. Which was okay at first. But but still had to deal with, you know, every single team having a Incineroar. Every single team had an Incineroar. Which, of course, you know, was my first shiny, and that started the whole goddamn thing. But I thought, because in Gen 6 and Gen 7, I really appreciated and liked my bulky, tanky, surprising Pokemon, that I was going to love Dynamax, because Dynamax did what Mega Evolution didn't do, and that was modify your HP stat. It would actually increase your HP. Would it double or 50%? I don't remember. But it would increase your HP. And you basically gave them Dynamax candy to increase their max energy, or whatever the hell it was, which would increase their max health, while their Dynamax or Gigantamaxed. And so I thought I was going to really like Dynamax. But what ended up happening was, when you Dynamax, it also changes your moves to be like a generic, like, Dynamax move based on the type. So, like, if you were Dynamaxed and you had a flying move, it would turn that move into a move called Max Airstream, which would do increased flying damage, but it would also increase your speed and your partner's speed all the time. Like, every time you used Max Airstream, it would increase your speed. And other moves of other types did different things. Like, if you did a fire move, it would put up sunlight. If you did a ground move, I think ground was special defense. It would boost your special defense. And because of that, what people would do is just basically just put flying moves on fucking everything. So it was almost like worthless to bring bugs. It was worthless to bring grass types. It was worthless to bring fighting types. Not always, of course, but because of the prevalence of... Ooh, shiny. What are you? What are you? Oh, you're a male. But because of how oppressive flying was for Dynamax Pokemon, it was just really hard to get anything that was weak to flying in. And to make matters worse is, in some cases, in a lot of cases, the extra XP or extra HP didn't really super matter, which I kind of found frustrating. And with max moves too, they would hit through Protect. So you would always deal at least a little bit of damage. The max moves would hit through Protect, but they would only do 25% of their normal damage. So you'd take damage at a significantly reduced rate, but it would still go through. And still give them the bonuses. So there was really no good way to, like, really shut that down and prevent your opponent from getting the boost or anything like that. You could run, like, Clear Smog, but it just wasn't popular last generation. And I found it really, really frustrating. And then when they changed the format, actually my favorite format in Gen 8, well, two favorite formats, was when they banned, like, the top 20 used Pokemon for a month. They just said, hey, these are the most top 10 played Pokemon in singles and doubles. They're not allowed anymore. And Incineroar was on that list. So it was just like, haha, I don't have to deal with that stupid thing anymore. So that was fun. I enjoyed that. That made the VGC scene a lot more tolerable. Because it also got rid of a lot of Pokemon that really abuse the speed boost from Max Airstream. And then the other really fun format that they had was, we're not going to Dynamax. We're getting rid of Dynamax entirely. And I was just like, I am all about that. So that was a fun format for a hot minute. And then, of course, towards the end of a generation's life cycle, they usually open up VGC to, like, basically no rules at all. And they did that with Sword and Shield, where you could bring... I don't think they ever let you bring Mythicals in VGC. But they let you bring 2 restricted Pokemon. And restricted Pokemon typically means box art legendaries. Like the super powerful legendaries, like Kyogre, Groudon, Zamazenta, Zacian, that sort of thing. And then once they did that, it was just every single team was Regieleki, Zacian, Kyogre, Groudon. If it wasn't any of those 4, it was some combination of them. Just every single game. And although once Regieleki got thrown into the game with Crown Tundra, that really shut down a lot of flying types, which I was like, yay, that's great. But then Regieleki became the oppressive nightmare thing because it could just spam the shit out of Electro Web, which, you know, doesn't sound too bad on paper. You could put down a Trick Room and then that speed drop, you know, becomes a boost. But the thing with Eleki was that its ability Transistor increases its electric damage by 50%. On top of it already being a stab bonus because it is electric type. On top of that, you could give it a magnet, which would increase it by another 20%. And it just became just awful. And we got another shiny. And oh my god, Mop. I'm sorry, Mop. I love you. You are one of my favorite people, and I think you're beautiful. And I love you. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I had like 1 minute left on this goddamn sandwich. So I'm so sorry. I love you. You're wonderful. And you're great. So yeah. That happened. Oh, god damn it. Stay in your ball. I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, Eleki being a problem. Eleki definitely was a problem last generation. And like the best counterplay to Regieleki, you know, was of course ground types, Trick Room, things like that. And what Eleki really suffered from was that its move pool is actually pretty garbage. It doesn't learn... Wow, its faces just completely disappear when it goes to sleep. What the hell? Alright, that's not creepy at all. Anyway, Eleki really suffered from having a crappy move pool. It basically learned only electric moves and like a handful of normal moves, and that was it. So actually, do I have any? Yeah, I got that in the last few seconds of this sandwich, Mop. My god. So we are saving. So that was Aleki's weakness, is that its moves were just basically garbage. And in what it did well. It did just insane amounts of electric damage. But a ground type would just shut that down real quick with its electric immunity. Right? So, Groudon did really well against it. Because Groudon is really bulky and immune to its electric damage. But... oh, and it's got a perfect IV in special defense. Neato. But this generation, we have Terra Blast. And Terra Blast could potentially be anything. It could be any type. And what a lot of people are doing in Showdown and simulators is they're putting Terra Ice on Aleki. And basically what you do is you Terra Ice first turn, and you Terra Blast with Aleki's monstrous special attack, and Terra Blast will just ruin a ground type's day. Or what else could it do? Ground and grass, because grass resists electric. So ground and grass types were the bane of Aleki's existence. Now it doesn't matter, because it could just go Terra Ice and just get rid of that ground and ice type, or ground and grass type. And it's just, yeah, Aleki is going to be a problem next month. It's going to be a huge problem, and I'm actually really not looking forward to it at all. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know a lot of high-level VGC players are not super thrilled about this, especially because it's basically a late in the generation format, or typical late in the generation format, before the first worlds of this generation. So a lot of people are very displeased with this decision. So I'm really hoping that after this 3-month stretch of Regulation D, that they either take it back a bit and maybe disallow all legendaries, but keep in paradox forms, and we kind of go back to Regulation B, or what was it, Series 2, because they changed it in the middle of things. I think it was Series 1, Series 2, Regulation C. I think that's how they went. I did not participate in the first 2 competitive formats this generation, because I was shiny breeding and doing that sort of thing. But what the hell is that? Oh, it's a Sylveon. I didn't know Sylveon. I don't think that's a Sylveon. I bet that's... oh, it is a Sylveon. I didn't know Sylveon could even spawn here. Huh. I thought that was just Alfrenata where it could spawn. Weird. Where was I going with that train of thought? I don't know. But also weirdly about Regulation D2 is that so they're allowing a lot of the legendaries, but just not the restricted Pokemon and mythicals, essentially. And then Iron Leaves and Walking Wake are also banned still. Why? You to use Regieleki, who will be allowed, you have to buy a whole ass game and a whole ass DLC to go get a Lecky, right? But like Walking Wake and Iron Leaves, you just had to have been present for an event that they're no longer obtainable, of course, but you just had to be present for that event, which they could easily redo, but they haven't because they haven't resolved the issue a couple of weeks ago with Ray Dens and whatever. But it's just like, why are they not allowed? I don't understand. Anywho, I'm gonna call it there. It is now 10 o'clock for me. Thank you so much for watching. I actually had quite a lot of fun. We didn't get to use my Pincurchin Quaquaval team that I was a little excited about, but I was not super confident in that team, and we did so well with my turtle and my monkey that I didn't want to, like, you know, rise up the ranks and then crash back down. So I'm gonna give it like a hot break, and I will be back to VGC content on Wednesday. But I think we're definitely gonna be reusing Torque Room, my brutal Sun team, as I call it. Definitely going to be reusing that. So I'll figure something out for Team 2. Do I want to bring a single team? I don't know. I will talk it over with myself. But thank you so much for watching. I really, really had fun tonight. Last night was not a whole lot of fun. I just was not feeling right. I just had a rough day, and just nothing was going my way the whole night. So yeah, this kind of night after that kind of night is very, very nice. But I will see you guys on Wednesday. I might do a stream tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. I have a lot of shit to do tomorrow, so I will see you guys later. Bye.